Hi, a happy hoarder here, and I am participating in the Dolls Gone Goth Cupid, hosted by Dolls Rescued and JK Dolls. Thank you, ladies, for another fun adventure. I'm going to be doing a custom repaint on this Wonder Woman doll. I think this is by Hasbro, and it's one of the superheroes.
All right, so those of you who think doll repainting is not doll making, I'm telling you, there's work involved in this. That's hard work. So she has this texture right here on her legs of the stars, and I painstakingly scraped this off using a rasp and then another file to get more off, and then an even finer file to get it off some more and not be so scratched up. And then I've sanded it like 3 different times of, sanded it to the smallest I had. It was my smallest grit handy. I think I have like a 400 if I'm lucky. No, 220. So that's as small as I've gotten. I did find some 400 in the other room. I could use that. So in sanding it down, I'm not happy. That's a lot of work. So I really was digging the black hair, and she does have blue streaks, which is kind of cool too. And so I like the knee pads. I'm not going to have stars on them, but I want something looking like biker, like I said, leathers and things like that for her to be wearing. She definitely was digging this, though. I want to do something with these on her arms. I thought that was kind of cool. Now, she does not have the articulation the other one does. But anyway, faces.
So I got to work, and I'm trying to zoom in here, and what I'm using is a pencil that is just a little bit darker than her skin tone so that I can see what I'm doing. And right now I'm sharpening it, and I have this really cool pencil sharpener. It makes a really long point, and I also have handheld sharpeners so I get those really fine points. But right now I am just going through and kind of sketching in something that's just a little bit darker than her skin tone so I can kind of see where I want her eyes. Oh yeah, I am so rough on my dolls. I haven't even bothered to take her her headband off at this point, and I just hold her by her hair. I don't intend on changing out her hair, so I had done Mr. Super Clear, and at that time her hair was wrapped up. The way I've just abused them when I'm painting them, I had to take the wrap off, and then every time I go to spray it, I have to like wrap something around it again, so it kind of goes back and forth with that. So sorry, I'm a little bit off on how I set up my camera, but I had a guest, and they were actually on the other side. I just kind of cropped this out. So anyway, I am just sketching in some eyeballs. Now, I want to point out here, this is typically what I do. And the funny thing about this story is I end up, not using that face. And anybody who's ever done these faces know sometimes you go through a few faces.
Okay, so oh man, so let's give us some cool eyes. Eyes. I think she needs to have very light colored eyes. Ooh, like light brown, not dark brown. I kind of want to go blackish. Gray, I could do gray. Could do gray eyes. So that's the thing.
So I'm using some watercolor pencils. I have different kinds, and I'm really bad about sticking my watercolor pencils in my mouth and just dampening them so they'll be a little darker. Yeah, there's a lot of DNA on my dolls. I am just doing the eyebrows, things like that. I think I'm just using black here. But I have several different kinds of watercolor pencils. I am surprised to say that the watercolor pencils by Crayola worked surprisingly well. So I had a good time kind of putting her together and getting those eyes drawn on. And this time I was pretty happy with these. I think I came back and did a little painting, touch-ups like that, but a lot of drawing involved. On her, I always like to draw the faces first, just like everybody else does. We just like to get those heads done. And I typically, would wrap them up. For some reason, I didn't wrap her head up. She just got abused the whole time. And that face held together. It was amazing. So now I'm adding some color, to her cheeks, a little makeup, and I got this idea that instead of adding blush, I just wanted to put some red under her eyes, and I just kind of played around with that. I think I'm working on some other colors. I can't tell I have in my color palette right now, but I think there's a Rembrandt's in front of me, just some pastels, which I really don't like as much because they have like a slick finish and you kind of have to sand on them to kind of get that finish off, and they don't do as well with the brushes, so I usually have to loosen some up and just use them that way, where some of my other variety of pastels that I use are easier to work with different brush. I have like stiff brushes that I use that kind of break them up and give me that powder. I really wish I had some pan pastels. Haven't committed to buying any yet. I have checked them out though, but right now I have so many pastels. I'm trying to work with what I have. Now I'm going in fast forward because I spent hours working on this doll, hours. And I didn't want you to have to suffer through all that. And I know I'm at a bad angle for y'all to see what's going on the face, but at this time, I do not have a way to set up a camera that is where you can see over my shoulder or above me, but I'm working on that. So please, I just ask that you have patience with me. Should be sometime in March when I can get all that together. So I love these Q-tips with little points on them that you can buy, like makeup Q-tips. They're so great. And you should get some of those. And now I'm back to just adding a lot more details and eyebrows and eyelashes, something kind of resembling eyelashes. I think I got a black pencil in my hand. That's what it looks like.
See how just that little bit. Let me see. Can y'all see her? Is she in focus? Let me just get some lighting on her. Do y'all see just that little bit of a line? What a difference that makes on her eyes. Isn't that cool? Huh. I don't know. My lighting was not so wretched. She's kind of, her hair is a hot mess now. I see her smirk over to one side. I promise you the lighting would, if it wasn't so horrible, she looks much better in the real life. Come on. There. I think she just looks like somebody smeared her makeup.
So I decided I don't like her having tennis shoes, and I cut out the heel to kind of give her more of a boot look. So I just did that with a Dremel just to get that cut in for her heel, and then I carved away at that. Got her boots done, both of her little boots. And one thing I did is I painted her. She's got your hair, girl. Painted her with black paint, and I'm not real happy because it is scratching off. And this is the multi-surface paint. Now I've had it a while, but it's yeah, it's just not holding up like I want it to. I have primed these dolls before, and I had just as bad luck by priming it. I did prime this with some Mod Podge, so I don't know. I can't get the paint to stick. Let me get this where it's not so zoomed in now. Yeah. So I'm dealing with that right now. Try to give everything a coat of black paint. Hope for the best. And now for her wings. Now her wings got really interesting really fast. I had some wings that I had kind of designed for something else. So I was just kind of looking at them to see if they would work. I didn't like the netting, that shade. This is this costume for like a cat or something. In fact, we used it on our cat, and it's just some satin wings. I was trying everything out to see what I'd like. I'm kind of digging the satin wings, so I'm playing with those. And what I had showed earlier, and it like went by there real fast, was a pair of wings that I had made, and they were wire. And so I'm using this wire so that I can shape these wings better. And I had just used that chenille because I needed the glue to stick to something. I just didn't think it would stick to regular wire. I was having really good luck with that on another thing that I'd done. So I'm using these little craft sticks. I mean, you know, those bendy sticks, or I call them chenille sticks, or pipe cleaners, some people call them. So I'm using those to give the wings like a bone and some rigidity and some ability to pose. But I'm gonna just jump ahead now and tell you this was very time consuming, and I had twisted the wire as well, so it's like 2 wires to give it extra strength and things like that. So I put a lot of work into this, and if I ever did this again, I would not do this again, first of all, because they come out really heavy. I think they're amazing looking at the end, but I think the same wing's just a little bit more delicate had I not used that big, fluffy wire. I think I could have pulled that off in the end, and I think if I had just hot glued it on the other side, that would have worked. And then I could have also come back with what I'm going to be doing later on, and you'll see how I kind of built up this kind of bone structure for the wings. So overall, I'm happy with the wings. It was a lot of work, a lot of decision making, because this was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to start doing it, and whatever happens, happens. And this is kind of what happened. So just, I think the chenille sticks would look okay on some type of wing. I guess. I mean, I don't know. You could try it to make a wing. I think it'll look okay. But for what I wanted for her, that's me twisting the wire. You see that? Oh, and then I just pull out these rubber wings because I kind of stopped in the middle of this, like, this isn't what I'd like. So I'm trying these rubber wings. That actually came off of a bat, like a, Halloween decoration. So I'm kind of messing with them. Spent some time. I'm trying to trim off some of the excess rubber, things like that. And actually cut those down for a Barbie. And I didn't like them because they're really floppy. And I was kind of looking at this like, could I put wire in these and kind of give them the same effect that I'm trying to get? Because I do kind of like the slick wire, but the other problem with this set of wings, they're just too small. They didn't make sense, for her to have wings that size, where the wings that I am making a little bit bigger. And actually the first wings that I had made for another project or started on for another project probably would have worked better because they were even bigger. But overall, you just got to play around with this, and just what all this is. It's me playing with stuff. Sometimes not having a full idea what I'm going to do when I start. It just kind of evolves. So what I'm doing right now, I'm adding a foam clay, and it's black because I needed a little bit of water, and I was too lazy to get it in fresh water, and so I'm using the water out of my paint when I'm rinsing my brushes. So it's got black all over. It's going to be painted black anyway. It'll be fine, right? Right. No worries. But you'll see later on how I used the same product without getting black all over it. We actually had fresh water to use with it. So this was fun. And at first I was just going to make the strips of, just kind of cover that chenille stick to kind of get rid of that fuzz because I just didn't like how it looked. I thought the foam clay would be better because it's more flexible. But once it dries, it does get pretty brittle. So it was, I could set it up and then shape it and then add to it, however I needed to. So that was part of working with that. It can be brittle. So it's not as flexible as I thought it would be. So here it is where I have put a lot more time into it now, and I've actually created these bones. And so this is the back, and at first I was just going to do the back and just kind of paint the front, where you couldn't tell. But no, after I built the back, I thought I really need to do the front as well. And so this is another very tedious project, and I'm watching somebody's live stream. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm actually watching another person's live stream, and I think I'm like answering or something. So anyway, so I keep clicking on my, scrolling up to hit answers. So yeah, there's that. And I made the hooks. It was a lot of fun to build. Now, did I look at a pair of bat wings when I did it? Absolutely not. That's not how I roll. I make up my stuff as I go along. So if you were like a bat person, you go, that's not what bat wings look like. It's not bat wings. They're wings for a twisted Cupid, an evil Cupid. So there. So here it is where I am just painting it, a combination of black and a gray, and I am using the multi-surface paint by Plaid products. I am a Plaid ambassador, yay! So shout out to Plaid because most of the stuff I am using is by Plaid. So I did all this, just paint. You can tell how neatly and carefully I am painting this. No, I really just got an old bad looking brush and I just started slathering paint all over it. Paint really helped the satin. It just gave it a different look. And it kind of didn't look so much like fabric when I got through. When it was painted, it had a little bit of the painted look to it. So it actually helped having the paint on that. And my straps kept getting in the way. They got a little paint on them too, but it's all distressed anyway. Who cares? So everything got a base coat of the black first. Then I thought I was almost through with this. Nope, still painting. So I'm going to, I guess I could speed this up a little bit, couldn't I? It wasn't fast enough. I didn't realize. Hours of painting, guys. These wings took a few days to make because I did like one wing, one side, another wing, one side. Then you kind of had to do it. So it's like 4 days just to get that. And then another day of just kind of touching things up. So if you're, you don't want to, the clay's so soft when you're working with foam clay. If you haven't tried it, then you work with it, and if you bump it against something, it's just going to get messed up. It takes it a while to set, and dry, and you really want it to dry for a few days before you start painting, because it gets really, much harder that way. So yeah, this was a long process, but I kind of wanted to get all this done in how I'm filming right now, is to get all the bat wings done, and then I'll go back to the body where I'm working on her outfit, and then she's got some more accessories coming up. Now that was just one side. Now I got to paint the other side, or I'm repainting. What am I doing here? I don't know. So I painted both sides, and I think I may have added the spine. There was something I did. That's why it looks like I'm painting the same side again. And you can tell I put it before I finished everything. I bent the wings some more, so that they're more curled, have a lot more shape to them now, and so they're like knuckles are bent. And then I added some more clay to kind of, build that up. So the wire was great for that, and I think just any wire could have worked. And then I could have made it a little bit more delicate, other than these big, beefy, muscular wings that she's got big bones on there. But if you look at the doll, she's got a muscular and all that anyway, so it works. So now I'm going back with some gray and some white. I'm just kind of mixing up as I go along, kind of doing this very distressed, rugged, rough, creepy look about it. So it's fun to do. It's like, more and less, you just add some white, add some black, add some gray. So here she is back at it. And what I'm doing right now is I overpainted. I'm so bad about overpainted. So I'm having to go back and touch her up. Because she kept peeling. She still continues to peel, even though I have put 2 more layers. I've used Mr. Super Clear, and I have used Mod Podge. And still, she is insisting on getting little chips in her at the least little thing. So that's one of the reasons I can't sell her, is because I just couldn't pass her on to someone with that problem. And unless they were an artist and they knew how to touch her up. So the biggest job in this was those wings and her weapon that's coming up in a little bit. So please continue watching so you can see what she carries as her weapon. But I will say this, the little plastic getting up in the knees, I'm still having some issues with that. I may have to go back in, Mr. Super Clear, and hit it with some charcoal, and just hopefully get like something that will stick on there. And the charcoal will stick to Mr. Super Clear. Hopefully that will work. But I am still having some problems with the joints. Peeling off the paints. So now, here comes the fun part, getting all my little tools together. What I did was I got an old-timey clothespin, and I cut it in half, and or split it in half if you want to know the truth, and sanded it, and I am making her a crossbow. So she's going to have this really cool weapon. Instead of a bow and arrow, I just thought she's the kind of chick who would have a crossbow. So I'm using skewers that are bamboo, and I knew that there was a possibility that I was going to have to heat these up in order to get them to bend. But first, I thought I'd try it because they have some flexibility, as you see. I thought that would work. Long story short, it did not. It cracked. So I will show you later how I did bend it. So right now I am just working on all this little tedious stuff that you do, and I am trying to clean up. I'm trying to clean up my little ends because they were kind of rough. Or I cut it. I was trying to sand off that end so it would be pretty. I would get them the same size too. So working on that's a little area where a guide for the arrow to go through, and it actually works. And I didn't do a demonstration video. Sorry, you're gonna have to trust me, but it does work. I mean, what can go wrong, right? It's a working, but it is an actual working crossbow. I did put when I put the handle in, I ran the point of the skewer all the way through the wood, where it has a little piece that sticks out, and I can kind of brace my string on there just for it to sit there. But you actually have to take that off, and then it'll fire. So yeah, here I am testing out to see, and I was like, no, it was cracking when I put too much pressure on it. So you have to take the heat, and yes, you can burn it. So be careful and just do it quickly. And that you have to use fire, and it will actually draw it in and create that curve. It's fun to work with. So if you want to do some fun little miniatures, there you go. That's a fun thing to make, a miniature crossbow. So this is me stringing it, and I'm using, believe it or not, a Kevlar fishing line that I just happen to have. So I'm going and doing it. What am I doing? Oh, I didn't think it was curved enough, so I made it another one. So yeah, it's a lot of redo. Oh no, I think I was making the end. So I took a piece of bamboo, a basket weaving material. It's kind of flat like a bark. It is, it's bamboo bark. And I'm using that to make a little turn, just a decorative edge on it. It just looked better having that little finished edge. So I came up with that plan. Could have used anything, but no, I thought I'd make it hard on myself. So this took a long time to make, actually, because once again, I'm looking at pictures. I was just talking to my son on the phone occasionally, but I am looking at photos of several different kinds of crossbows as I'm making this. I wanted it to look older and a little bit simplified, because I'm not going to do some of the really fancy stuff they had. Plus, I wanted it to work, and I was looking at some, had scopes and all on it. I said, no, she wouldn't have all that. Keeping it clean, keeping it simple, and I wanted it to work. So that's what it looks like at this point, but it gets better because I do paint it, of course, and I paint it, and I made 4 bolts for it. I also made her a quiver, and I made it, right now I'm not 100% happy with how I made it stay on her. I think if I could figure it out, I would do a different kind of like a buckle system, or maybe 2 rings to make that kind of tie through. I just didn't have it handy when I was doing this, so I stuck with just tying knots. But I made a little redo on her quiver. I don't think you really carry bolts in a quiver. I did try to fasten them somehow to the side where they could slide off, but I was having some issues and I was hiding my shape. I wanted that crossbow to look awesome, and by attaching the bolts on the side, it didn't look good. So now I'm painting it. I painted it black and gray, and I did a little distressing on it as well. I wanted that piece of bamboo that's the actual, crossbow piece to be looking like a metal piece, so I was painting it gray. And yeah, my fast forward's a little bit jerky because this was something, I don't know why it's doing this, but it does this. I can't figure out why I again have it like smooth. So now I'm going back and doing touch-ups on her again, and it's mostly around the shoes, the joints, and knee pads. I love that blue streak in her hair, and I thought, well, it just doesn't really go with her outfit. So I did come back and I did a little dry brush of some blue and a broken heart on her belt. Meet Carnage. Now she is quite the twisted Cupid. So thanks for watching, and please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification button because sometimes I make pretty good videos. And I go live on Tuesdays at 2 and Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. And I will be making more dolls, at least one a month, if not more. So please check back if you love repainted dolls. Bye!